Hi, I'm Andy. Welcome to the channel. AI art is rapidly advancing to the point where anyone with a computer will be able to create fully animated movies and games at home without needing the hardware, manpower, and massive budget of a big production studio. I created that spooky little movie in a few hours using Midjourney, Clip Studio Paint, and some free resources I found online, and I'll show you how I did it. Now, we know that Midjourney is a great tool for creating just about any type of artwork in any style. My specialty has always been character art. When I worked in animation, backgrounds and environments were handled by a completely separate department of background artists. Now I have an AI to help me out with all that. But the images often have unwanted artifacts and weird combinations. For instance, you can see how this tree has blended with this gravestone here, and this strange looking thing here which is neither a sculpture or a rock, and this silhouette here which could be a statue or a figure, but it's a bit too small and it doesn't really look like either. So how can we fix that? Well, one way is by photobashing. Photobashing is a technique where you take different elements from different images and put them together to create a new image. I use photobashing in two ways. Firstly, to give the AI some extra visual direction, and secondly, to create composite images from the best parts of what the AI gives me back. In this way, I was able to get exactly what I wanted in a relatively short space of time. Here I'm taking some Midjourney images I got from a written prompt, and I'm roughly photobashing them into something like the scene I would like to see Midjourney produce. Upload the image, copy the link, and put the link into your prompt. Hit enter and see what comes back. It's quite different, but it's kept the overall colour scheme, which is good. It's got the mausoleum, and it's added in this arch gate. This is actually giving me further inspiration for other ways I could take this composition. I like the way this gated archway looks, but maybe I don't need the actual gates. You could keep going back and forth with Midjourney and photobashing for as long as you want. It's kind of like dancing with a machine in a collaborative process. Of course, the AI never gives you back exactly what you visualized, but it's getting close now. I have enough raw material to pick and choose from to do a final photobash and create the perfect background. I want to create a sense of depth in my scene. That means having a foreground, a midground, and a background. I'm going to put the tonally darkest elements in the foreground and have the mid-value elements in the midground and the lightest elements in the background. This separates everything and helps sell the illusion of depth. I'm using Clip Studio Paint, which is primarily an illustration and comic creation app. It has a lot of photo editing capabilities too, but it's not quite as good as a dedicated app like Photoshop. So to give me a helping hand and speed up the process, I used this free online background removal tool to very quickly help me isolate the parts I wanted to use. Now I can export each layer separately as a PNG file with transparency. Now I'm going to import all these layers into Mental Canvas. Mental Canvas is a tool that allows you to put 2D images into a three-dimensional space, creating a 2.5D environment. Mental Canvas is very simple to use, but it only really works with a touchscreen like My Surface Pro. You could do the same thing in Blender, but that has a much steeper learning curve, and I'm only just starting to get into that. Now, this is where the fun really begins. You can create different views of your environment and move through it, just like it was a three-dimensional space. You simply move around and create a series of keyframes, and on playback, Mental Canvas will smoothly animate between the different views. Once I've created my animated environment walkthrough, it's time to export it as a video and bring it into DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve is an incredibly powerful video editor, even the free version I'm using here. For the final touch, I'm going to head over to Pixabay and grab some free sound effects and suitably spooky music and throw those on. And there you have it, folks. Now you know how to create your own 2.5D scenes. So grab your computer and get started on your own hauntingly beautiful environment today.